Hey folks, the delivery man was good to me today. Got a box sitting here, come from Comp, and I think I know what it is. Let's dig in, take a look, see what all kind of goodies has come. The folks at Comp, F.A.S.T, Edelbrock, they're all one big company, and they have been extremely helpful with BabyD. We know it's got a big old comp cam in it. Oh yeah, that's exactly what I thought was in here. All kind of goodness from F.A.S.T. So this thing's going to have a F.A.S.T XFI system on it. I don't even know anything about a lot of this stuff. The top fuel cars and mechanical fuel injection. This is all obviously electronic stuff, and we've got tons of stuff in here. BabyD is going to be F.A.S.T equipped. Injector harness. Temperature sending unit. Map sensor. Man, they've sent a pile of stuff here. Temperature sending unit. A couple more big old boxes here. Let me just get this out of the way where we can take a peep at this stuff. Definitely kid at Christmas time again. Where's the little razor blade go? Trying my best not to cut myself here. All right. F.A.S.T wiring harness for a standalone HEMI. I'm assuming here XFI the box for the controlling. 6.1 HEMI coil harness. I'm gonna tell the truth now. I don't know nothing about this stuff. At the very end of me bracket racing, I had put a F.A.S.T system on my 440 powered dragster and did not really learn a lot before the top fuel thing come along. So I'm learning. Here is the actual brains of the system right here. Another cool F.A.S.T XFI 2.0. Man, oh man. Yeah. Brent, you're going to be coming to Drummond's, Tennessee here before you know it. Because this is definitely beyond my skill level. We'll get Brent down here. I'm going to try to get this thing wired up before he gets here so that it's at least starting and going and running, and he will be able to just come down here and make it run right. But that's kind of my hope. And injector harness. Man, this is who knows, maybe I can figure this out. It looks a whole lot like plug and play. They definitely loaded me up with the stuff to get it done, though, no doubt about it. I love when the shipping box outside has a big old box like that in there, and I know it's for BabyD. Oh, the real wiring harness for the whole everything here. Yeah, this is going to be fun. This is definitely going to be fun. I'm definitely going to be using a lifeline calling a friend. Anyway, so I am going to show you guys around. A little bit of work was done. So on the last video, you saw that the motor got put in, and I have went and got the headers all bolted up. Just took the inner fender well out, got those bolted in there, all come out really, really nice. The headers on this thing are so awesome. These Hooker Blackheart stainless steel headers. It's full in there. I mean, it is definitely, you know, take the wheel wells out so you can get to it. You're not really going to be doing any kind of header tightening above the in the engine bay. You're going to climb underneath. The other thing I wanted to show you guys was look how nice all of this stuff come out. Nice Silver Sport Magnum 6-speed, the QuickTime bell housing. It all fits so nice. I wanted to show the so the shifter right where it needs to be, and all of that was done. I sent measurements to Silver Sport and they made it work. Stainless line going over to the clutch cylinder. Bell housing. I had an old starter here. I'll change that, but it plenty easy to get to the starter. Our stock truck oil pan, which works. The Holley motor mounts. All this stuff just come out so nice, and it just fits. That's what's awesome about it. I was really not sure on the transmission, but there is zero floor clearance issues at all. Now, I do not have, right at this moment, I do not have the proper transmission mount in here, but I will have that in there very soon. But I do kind of got it where it's supposed to go. Just a quick little update. Slowly but surely, we are making progress. So, I'm gonna get a new air conditioning condenser, radiator. Gotta have an electric fan because this motor obviously does not come with a fan on it, and the little V6 that was in here had a fan on it. So got to do that, figure that part out. But I really do want to make the air conditioning work on this thing. It's pretty cool. So wasn't sure with all this Holley system on the front. You know, it didn't ever really talk about the air conditioning air compressor there, but it all fits in because I was worried, since you got to move the alternator from down here up to here, that wouldn't fit in there, but it does. So it's hot here in Tennessee most of the year, so if I can make the air work, why not get that done. I do want you guys to tell me what you think for, you know, the back end of this truck. I'm really debating, myself and Donna, we keep talking about it. You know, we do not need to make this a drag race truck, so to speak, because the project I keep talking about that y'all haven't seen, which is at Lutz Race Cars, that's kind of our drag vehicle, you know. So do we just lower this thing a little bit? What do I do for a rear end? You know, do you go ahead and put a 9-inch in it? Do you make it just handle? Do you just make it a stock truck that's got a really good motor and transmission in it? You know, clutch, that sort of thing. Something that, sleeper mode, so to speak, you know. I don't know. I'm kind of leaning towards something that, you know, that's got big wheels and tires all the way around. You know, maybe we sneak out to the racetrack in Memphis when they're having a track night. Let's see if I can go left and right. You know, it's possible. You know, they have some drifting events out there. I know nothing about that other than, you know, I guess you need an angle kit to really do that. But regular truck that looks kind of like a sleeper, big wheels and tires all the way around. And when I say big wheels and tires all the way around, I do not mean sticking out from under the fenders. I mean like a, you know, maybe a, I don't know, a 40 series tire all the way around, something like that, but yet not sticking out, you know, that's kind of tucked underneath without going crazy, having to put, you know, wheel tubs or something like that in there. But anyway, what do y'all think about that? So BabyD is getting closer and closer by the moment. But my real job is fixing to get really busy. We got a lot done during this week that I've been home. Actually, probably a lot more done than I even suspected, because so many parts that came in that we were able to get a lot done. Pretty pumped up about it. I don't know. Love to hear what you guys think about what do we do with this thing. From this point right here, you know, we now got to start thinking a little bit more about the back part of this truck. You know, it's got a stock rear end in there, which is a one-wheel peel, and I can tell you it is a one-wheel peel because of that rear tire right there. Obviously, the V6 would spin the tire a little bit. And I looked at the tag. It is a 355 gear in here. But I'm going to show you the other back tire, just so you know it's a one-wheel peel. So, yeah, I don't know if you can see it, actually. But that tire's got some tread left on it. It will not be all-terrain tires on this thing. I will tell you that. And it will not be high in the front and drop down in the back, because I don't understand that whole thing either. But anyway, let's just think about that. Put them comments down below. Let me know what y'all think. What do we really do with this truck? So I'm trying to not start a project before I hit the road. Everything's packed up, loaded up, ready to go. Oh, I got one more thing to show y'all. Millie, I got to have that ball. I got to have it. She's looking. I got to show you one more thing that came also from F.A.S.T, Fuel Air Spark Technology. Check out this really nice throttle body. I think that's an 87 millimeter, I do believe, for BabyD. Put that over here with all of our F.A.S.T products. Millie, can't find your ball? Where's your ball? Anyway, y'all, thought I would grab my phone, and I screenshotted some questions because, again, don't want to start another project late tonight. So let's answer some questions. Let me grab a few of them here. Robert Craig. Oh, wait a minute. Robert Craig Head. When did Top Fuel stop racing 1,320 feet? So the quick answer on that was mid-2008. And, you know, I know there's a lot of purists out there that if it ain't quarter mile, I ain't going to watch, that sort of thing. But we've been 1,000-foot racing since 2008. At Englishtown that year, funny car racer friend Scott Kalita actually lost his life. Made a little contact with the wall, probably knocked him out, whatever. I'm not getting into the details of the crash, but Scott Kalita, a champion, heck of a racer, lost his life. So what NHRA decided to do was go to 1,000 feet, because let's just think about this. A lot of the racetracks we go to were built way before cars were going well over 300 miles an hour. Some of the racetracks, I mean, you think about, let's just, I'm not picking on any particular racetrack, but let's think about Pomona, California. So Pomona is landlocked, it's surrounded. It's got streets on each end of it. And believe me, 330 miles an hour there, it's hard to stop. And that 320 feet made a big, big difference in stopping these cars. I mean, think about it. At 300 miles an hour, you are covering a football field per second. So 320 feet made a big difference. You know, purist or not, you've got to do what is safe for the competitors. And hey, it was what it is. You know, 1,000 foot has been in place for a long time now, since 2008. So, Robert, thanks for the comment on whatever video you posted that on, and thanks for the question. So, kind of talking about finish line thing, Terry Pollard asks, are you acclimated enough to 330 plus miles an hour that you can read the scoreboard? Kind of goes right along with Robert Craighead's question of quarter mile. So most of these racetracks were built, you know, quarter mile era, and actually all the other cars, with the exception of the nitro cars, still go, you know, quarter mile. Pro Stock does. Everything pretty much goes quarter mile at the NHRA event. So do you get acclimated to going 330 plus miles an hour? Yes, you do. I mean, I honestly typically know what we run before Mike even comes on the radio and tells me, because as I'm approaching the finish line at about the mile an hour light, which is 66 foot before the 1,000-foot mark, which is finish line, I will open the parachutes. And when you open the chutes, you're waiting for them to hit. So you kind of tighten up. You're waiting on that hit that's going to throw you forward. But when you do that, you literally can look up, according to which lane you're in, and you'll see what your elapsed time is. Typically, the board doesn't change fast enough to see the mile per hour. But yes, you do get acclimated. And unless the car's a handful down there, the majority of the time I do see the elapsed time on the board. All right, let me go find some others right quick. I screenshotted a few. Question from Jared Spear. When Mike is standing up by the engine after the burnout, I see him appear to adjust idle, I'm assuming. Then he nods his head to the other guy on the other side, reaches up to mess with what appears to be some valves. I've heard this term, putting it on the high side. What does all that mean, and what exactly is he doing? All right, Jared, you can go back. If you scroll back through some of my videos, there is a better explanation of what I'm fixing to tell you. So nitro teams, whether it be crew chief, car chief, whoever, somebody on the team, they will communicate with the other team. And here's what I mean by that. They're going to say, hey, we're a minute 30. The other car may say, we're a minute 40. So what that means is one car will start 10 seconds before the other so that we could, you know, one car does a longer burnout, backs up a little slower, whatever the case may be. But they'll share a number with each other, and that minute 30, minute 40, whatever it is, what that means is to the point when the driver is going to turn the pre-stage bulb on, which is the first bulb on the Christmas tree. So what Mike and Chris Newton, if you notice, there's always those two guys around each side of my car before I turn on the pre-stage. So what they're doing is, yes, adjusting the idle, which is a pretty simple deal. We've got two valves on the side of the injector that you can open them up, which creates a vacuum leak, which makes the idle go up, or they can screw them in and close it down, which makes a less of a vacuum leak, so the idle comes down. So they're trying to achieve a certain engine RPM, and that you'll see them looking at the dash to make that adjustment. And when Mike nods at the other crew chief, what he is doing is making an adjustment on what is called the barrel valve. So the barrel valve, again, go back and find that video that I posted. It's been months and months ago, last year, whatever. But if you just scroll through, you'll find one. I think it's something about fuel system is the title of it. I don't really remember. But what he is doing, he has made a decision that the racetrack is really good or maybe not so good. And he's just essentially enriching what I like to call the squirter. If you think about a Holley carburetor, if you're familiar with that, you can change the amount of fuel being squirted in the motor the moment you step on the throttle. And that's kind of what that does. So he's either fattening it up a little bit or leaning it out a little bit. Just the initial squirt. And that's all we're talking about here. The initial squirt, when you step on the throttle, that's kind of what that does. Anyway, thank you for that question, Jared. And go find that other video because it's actually Mike explaining the barrel valve. Oh, high side. So that has nothing to do with high side. High side is when we're doing the burnout, backing up, all those sort of things. Think about a water hydrant on the end of your house or your sink or whatever, where you've got the water just kind of trickling. Well, that's what we're doing on the burnout. So there's a lever in the car. I simply pull it. I look at a number that Mike tells me he wants on the dash for fuel flow. I kind of just explained this in one of Angry Hornet's videos, actually. But once I turn the top light on, I reach over, I pull that lever as far back as it'll go, and essentially I have turned the fuel pump from barely open to all the way open. And that is a term called putting it on the high side. But that is something that I do in the car, and that is all essentially the last thing I do before I stage is put it on the high side. All right, let's see. This question is from Terjay Johnson. I want to say Terry, but it's T-E-R-J, Terjay Johnson. What is the compression ratio in a top fuel engine, and how long can it run since there is no water cooling? And BabyD's awesome. I agree, BabyD is awesome. Dang, I hope it's Terry. I don't know. I hate to get somebody's name wrong, but static compression ratio on a top fuel car is generally it's very low, actually. It's kind of around 6 to 1, 6.5 to 1, and you might tell I'm not really going to tell you what it is, but call it 6.5 to 1 in that area. Not a lot of compression. Part of the reason why we use El Cheapo gas, which is in the bottle, they're squirting in the injector when we get ready to start the car. That's all they're doing, squirting cheap gas in there because nitro won't hardly burn until it's hot and running. I shouldn't say it's hot, until there is compression makes it go. How long will it run? Well, you can also go on YouTube and maybe look up something called The Birth of Dougzilla, and that would be me and Doug Herbert having a little staging battle, which staging battles were a hot topic in the last couple weeks in the Pro Stock class. Doug Herbert and I sat there for, I don't know, 2 minutes. And how long will they sit there and run? Pretty good while. Probably pretty much till you run them out of fuel, which, you know, I'm not saying it won't get hot, but nitro is actually cooling the motor off. So kind of like the last question, you know, if you think you've sat there a little too long, you can up the fuel flow, pull the fuel pump on a little bit more, put a little more fuel in the engine, and that will help keep it cool. So it'll run a little while, but thank you for the question. Next question. Let me find a good one here. Gene Martin. Great day. He was talking about our last final round. There is no kind of tired like an after race tired. The adrenaline bleeds off and you literally can feel your body untense. Y'all are due. You will get there. All right, Gene, you are correct on that. And y'all have heard me reference Don Prudhomme-isms. Don the Snake Prudhomme. Mike Klober was crew chief for Don Prudhomme back in the 80s. Mike was a young guy. He was crew chief on the Skull Bandit funny car. Won the U.S. Nationals and the Big Bud Shootout in 1989. That has nothing to do with this, but the adrenaline thing. So the Don Prudhomme-ism is Don Prudhomme told Mike, and again, I hear all these Don Prudhomme-isms a lot. Y'all have heard me say them on here before about if you're getting your butt kicked, use the Don Prudhomme rule and shut the car off. And I get a lot of comments about that being a bad thing, and I'll get into that subject later. But Don Prudhomme always said Monday after a race should be a holiday. And he is 100% correct. So for normal races, 3 days, you are go, 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 go. You are charging, you're fired up, adrenaline's going, and especially if you start going rounds on Sunday, you just get ramped up, amped up, and you go. Well, that all has to go back the other way, and that's typically Monday. Donna just walked by. That's what I was looking at her, and she will tell you on Monday, I could be a grump. I'm pretty much a grump on Monday. She just walked back by and she agreed, nodded her head that Monday should be a holiday after a race. Anyway, guys, wanted to answer a few questions. And anyway, folks, thank you for tuning in. BabyD stuff. Thank you guys. You're awesome. I do love the comments. I do read them. Try to answer questions when I get them. I get a lot more than that, but I try to answer them when I can. I'm rambling. Thanks for liking, watching, subscribing, sharing. Thank you, thank you, thank you. See you in the next one.